Now we are moving to the final part of the debate, which is the debate of the External Commissioner candidates. Just to elaborate earlier, 2 minutes on opening statement, 1 minute for each question and answer, and 1 minute on the closing statement. So, Katie, if you're ready, give us 2 minutes of opening statement.
Sure, thanks. Okay, my name is Kaylee. I'm running for re-election for the External Commissioner position within the CSA that I've been fulfilling for the past 10 months. So this is a position that I'm really familiar with and kind of, by this point, know the ins and outs of the job. I've been working in the past, since May when I began my term, I've been working with the Canadian Federation of Students, attending the general meetings, annual general, biannual general meetings, and working on the provincial executive as a representative of the CSA. So I have a lot of experience, and at first the idea of rerunning for this position was absolutely terrifying because it's a high pressure job, there's a lot of demands, and it's not exactly the kind of workload that you can just leave home at the end of the day when you're talking about students' interests and some pretty heavy issues that affect people's lives. So quickly that changed, and the idea of not rerunning for this position became the terrifying thing. And I really wanted to utilize all my experience and lessons that I'd learned over the past year to be more efficient and effective in my work with the CSA.
Well, first question. After being on the CSA exec for a year, you want another year. Why?
Okay, so I guess I sort of began to talk about this. The CSA has amazing potential, and I was first introduced to it in my first year with executive members who are outreaching to students for their input in campaigns that they were running across campus. So I guess, yeah, like over the past year, I've laid a lot of groundwork and worked with some really, really amazing people and have sort of mapped out effective ways to run campaigns and to work efficiently in this position.
Some people are having problem with the CFS, and you work in CFS as a CSA External Commissioner. What do you think?
Yeah, so the CFS, for anyone who doesn't know, is the Canadian Federation of Students, and everyone who's walking through this courtyard right now is actually a member of the Canadian Federation of Students. So I've had a lot of experience. I think they're a great resource, and we need to be organized as students across the province, across the country, articulating our demands as students, as a common interest group, to make our voices amplified. If sort of the slogan, if you say, is strength in numbers within the CFS, and I really believe in that, but we do need to engage with it and participate in it to make it take the form that we want to see.
How do you plan on assisting in campus initiatives and coordinate with other campuses and other campus unions?
Yeah, well, one of the projects that I've been working on with some other really amazing and dedicated people on our campus has been a forum for individuals, organizations, CSA clubs to get together and actually have a physical meeting place in which they can more efficiently and effectively plan events. So I want to continue to do this, but I also want to make sure that as your external representative, I'm able to connect individuals, organizations, and CSA clubs with resources, campaigns, whether that's support or monetary resources or just ideas outside of the campus, and that is incoming support and also bringing ideas and initiatives from Guelph outside.
Last question for me. If you could turn any building on campus into your own private playground, which building would it be and why?
Okay, I don't know if I can answer this like directly pertaining to the External Commissioner job, but just on a personal level, I would definitely say the new science complex, because I haven't really got to explore in there very much, and all I've seen is like in the atrium there's those huge pole structures in the cafe areas, and I'd really like to slide down them.
Now it's audience time to ask questions. Any question from the audiences? So I'm seeing.
Hi Kelly, my name is Derek. I'm the current academic commissioner. I wonder if you could comment on how you're going to use, you probably did in your opening remarks, but how you're going to use your experience of this year to build on any possible executive for next year.
That's an awesome question. Well, one of the concrete things that I can mention is this past year we had a provincial election, and one of my jobs in tandem with other executives at the CSA is to facilitate students' participation in the electoral process. So there was a lot of challenges to that this past year. We saw a pretty blatant disregard for the student voice with our municipal regional electoral office, and so I'm very confident that in the looming federal election we can do a lot more on this campus, not to just make sure that there are basic elemental things like voting stations, polling stations, pre-registration, but that students' issues are brought up, and that's the focus of organizing an election.
Anyone from audiences want to ask questions?
They're in my other backpack, which I left my friend Dylan says. So
I guess I'm seeing Katie, can you please wrap it up by 1 minute closing statement, please?
Sure. I don't really have anything prepared, but I just want to say that our tuition, I guess, as an opportunity to get the word out, our tuition is going up. It's going up by a minimum of 4%. And this is a problem for a lot of students, not just at Guelph, but in Ontario and across the nation. Ontario in particular has the second highest tuition in the country, and there's a lot that we can do. There's a lot of students who are organizing out there, and I think that we can really use that momentum to build something that will give us a better leverage with the people who are supposedly acting in our interest and funding and not funding our university education. So I just want to say thanks for folks here who are listening, people who are passing through, and my name's Kaylee, and I'm running for re-election for the External Commissioner position.
Thank you for your time.